Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite DraftKings plays for tonight's 11-game NHL slate. Let's dive right into it. And like I always do here in these videos, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of my cheat sheet here, but cannot recommend enough joining the free Discord channel that I have. You can see that mentioned above. We now have 780 people in there talking multiple different sports for DFS, as well as their favorite sports bets. If you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment below. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight. Starting with that first line for the New York Rangers, we got Trocheck centering Panarin and Lafreniere. This was truly the best line in hockey all of last season. They're picking up right where they left off this season as well. We'll see Lafreniere likely take the next step this year, and we know the upside that Panarin and Trocheck offer. You'll see both those two play up on the number 1 power play, and Lafreniere plays down on the number 2 power play, and a solid spot here against the Detroit Red Wings, who have got off to a sluggish start to the year. And then another line stack that I like here, a little cheaper line stack, is that first line for the Chicago Blackhawks. Good matchup as well here against the San Jose Sharks, and I love the correlation that we get with these three, all playing up on the number 1 power play. Now folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. It's completely free to do, and I'm going to have hockey content coming out for you guys all year long. Alright, now diving into some of these individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards, and the first guy I got there is Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers, taking on the Nashville Predators tonight, and for those of you who don't know, he has absolutely dominated this team over his last 15 games, putting up 23 goals, 14 assists, 37 points, plus I love that he's playing up on the first line right now with McDavid, and he thrives on that number 1 power play. But I don't mind running it back in that game either with someone like Jonathan Marchessault. I really like that price there for him. I'm really okay stacking up either one of their top 2 lines or even their number 1 power play, because the Oilers have taken a lot of minor penalties to start the year, and they have one of the worst penalty kills in the league as well. But I also like Sam Bennett here at that same price of 6,100. Really just like Florida in general in this spot at home against the Vancouver Canucks, another team that hasn't been great defensively to start the year. I'd really like it for Matthew Tkachuk to show up here tonight, but it sounds like he's still going to be sick, so Bennett's going to center that first line with Verhaeghe and Rodriguez, and all three of those guys are playing on the number 1 power play right now. Speaking of power plays that I like here, I like the Devils power play, especially Timo Meier at $5,800. Natural shooter, natural goal scorer against this Ottawa Senators penalty kill. This is a game that I'll be targeting in general here tonight. I think it could be pretty high scoring, but I also want to keep an eye on Linus Ullmark's status tonight. He has been injured, but it sounds like he could return for the Sens tonight. Just a little downgrade if he does return, but if we get those backup goaltenders, I really like the Devils in general. And then Sean Monahan there at $4,500, off to a good start this year, playing for his boy and Johnny Gaudreau. We absolutely love to see that, and he's just too cheap here at $4,500, considering the upside he's shown so far early this season. Now, moving on to the defensemen, and initially I did have Roman Josi of the Predators as the top spend-up option at $7,900, because again, that Oilers penalty kill has been abysmal to start the season. But then I didn't have any cheap guys in the 3K range here on the cheat sheet, so I did have to pivot off of that, but just note, I am interested in him. But I like Dougie Hamilton here as well of the New Jersey Devils, basically just reiterating everything that I just said there with Timo Meier. Love that number 1 power play against that Sens penalty kill, especially if Ullmark does not play tonight. But I like running it back in that game with Jake Sanderson too, very well-rounded defenseman who's playing big minutes for the Sens right now on their number 1 power play and the penalty kill, and he's had a good start to the season. Speaking of good starts here, Caden Gooley of the Montreal Canadiens, this is probably where he's going to float in terms of price for most of the year, but he has been fantastic in terms of racking up DraftKings points to start the season, primarily blocking shots. And then here's my cheap guy at $3,400, Brandt Clarke of the Los Angeles Kings. Good matchup here tonight against the Montreal Canadiens. He's floating around anywhere from 19 to 22 minutes a night and playing on the Kings' number 1 power play. And then I got a couple of goaltenders there for you, and I just think DraftKings got the pricing wrong on both of these guys here. Andrei Vasilevskiy has truly been fantastic in his first 2 starts this season. He's at home here tonight against Vegas, and maybe DraftKings is looking at that as a super tough matchup. And don't get me wrong, Jack Eichel has been fantastic for Vegas to start the season, but I'm just not overly concerned about the depth on that Vegas team right now. And Vasi, again, has just been truly fantastic to start the year, so $7,800 is too cheap. He should be priced easily at $8,300 or maybe even more. And then Sam Montembeault there at $6,900. Look, I know he's more of a tournament play, kind of that boom-bust type of style that we're looking for, high risk, high reward type of play. But man, taking on the Los Angeles Kings here tonight on back-to-backs who just played in Toronto last night, this price at $6,900 to me is just far too cheap, so I'll be playing them in tournaments, and I think we can even consider that in cash. And as always, going to wrap it up there with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays, and I'm highlighting 3 guys who are playing in similar roles right now. All 3 of these guys are getting time on their team's #1 power play. Morgan Frost is also centering that first line right now for the Philadelphia Flyers. Alex Laferriere is playing up on the #1 line with Kempe and Kopitar. Just unreal opportunity right there. And Kent Johnson's been fantastic to start the season. I really love the minutes that he's getting on this Columbus team right now, floating around 18 to 20 minutes a night. Not bad for a guy priced at $3,500. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks, and let's win some money on this 11-game NHL slate.